Coming up next on KPBS Evening Edition, we talk with Mayor Jerry Sanders about pension reform, San Diego's broken roads, and a lot more.
Also, we'll show you how a San Diego company is trying to protect soldiers from friendly fire on the battlefield.
And we'll have a look at all the preparations for tomorrow's presidential visit to the USS Carl Vinson.
KPBS Evening Edition starts now. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dwayne Brown.
And I'm Amitha Sharma, in for Joanne Farian. The Chargers are taking on the Oakland Raiders right now, but it was their stadium that was on the mayor's agenda today.
Mayor Jerry Sanders met with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell to talk about the team's search for a new stadium. One is proposed for San Diego's East Village downtown. Goodell says he believes the team wants to remain in San Diego. In a few minutes, we'll talk with Mayor Sanders about the stadium and other issues affecting the city.
Security guards for the Metropolitan Transit System walked off the job today. Trolley service continued despite the strike by workers who say their employer, Heritage Security Services, is not bargaining in good faith. MTS contracts with Heritage for security. The transit agency says replacement guards were on standby and took over when the union members walked out.
A tide of financial troubles has washed away a summer tradition in Imperial Beach, the U.S. Open Sandcastle competition. The contest has drawn sandcastle artists and tourists for 30 years, at least, about 31 actually. About 4,000 people went to this year's event. Organizers say they're canceling it because of increased costs and fundraising troubles, including the loss of $45,000 in grants to pay for security.
A San Diego-based company is offering a financial leg up for some veterans. Next year, 10 qualified vets will get UPS store franchises without paying the usual fee of nearly $30,000. Mailboxes, etc. franchises the UPS stores. The company says that starting January 1st, honorably discharged vets who meet certain financial qualifications can apply.
In war, military experts say friendly fire casualties are inevitable, but it doesn't absolve the armed forces from doing everything in their power to eliminate the problem. Today, we got to look at some high-tech solutions a San Diego defense contractor wants to make available to better protect our troops. Noise, smoke, faulty communications, and fear are all factors combat troops face when confronting the enemy. And human error is more often the cause of friendly fire or mistakenly shooting the wrong target. That's why Cubic Corporation has been working since the 1990s to develop its combat rifle scope. It works with this optical tag embedded in a soldier's helmet to instantly identify friendly forces or potential targets. This combat ID technology is all about simplicity. A soldier in the field simply presses this button, looks through the scope, and can immediately identify whether the target is friendly or unknown.
What we've got is we've got a built-in GPS. We have azimuth and elevation sensors inside. We have a laser for range finding and also for communications purposes. And it's all done with really the most simple weapons design at all. One touch of the pressure pad gets you all the information from inside the scope.
Cubic says the device was recently tested with combat vets for 30 days and got excellent reviews. The scope is also designed to reduce location errors. It's equipped with Bluetooth to send back its target info to headquarters.
And send it through a government server up to an AWACS, and the AWACS aircraft was actually circling the battlefield and was tracking where our troops were on the ground simply by carrying the scope.
Now, the final step to making this all a reality is getting the military to fund it. Cubic hopes to have it in the field for ground troops within 2 years. In a few minutes, actually a few minutes ago, we told you about Mayor Jerry Sanders meeting with the commissioner of the NFL. Well, Amitha is talking with the mayor about that and other city issues at the Evening Edition Roundtable.
San Diego Mayor Jerry Sanders inherited a city beset by bad pension decisions. It was also the target of an SEC investigation over its financial disclosures. 6 years later, the city is still in a financial hole, but trying to crawl out through reform. Mayor Sanders is with me today to talk about that reform and lots of other issues. Mayor Sanders, welcome. We've got a lot of territory to cover.
I'll be brief.
The idea of guaranteed pensions with 401-style plans, 401k-style plans for new city hires, except police officers, has now qualified for a ballot measure. But as you know, it's in for a heck of a fight by labor unions and Democratic council members. What is your pitch to voters to pass this?
Well, my pitch to voters is these systems were designed in the 40s and 50s, and people were supposed to retire at age 65, and then you didn't live very long. And you had a small benefit. It wasn't as much as you actually earned while you were on the job. Over the years, people retire earlier, they live longer, they pay less into it, and the pension costs have escalated. And you have to cut city services just to pay the benefits. And I don't believe that that's sustainable, and I don't think voters think that either.
Labor unions say that this initiative may not even be legal. They say that, you know, the fact that it freezes city workers' salaries at points to calculate pension costs, and they say the fact that you didn't negotiate with them directly, these changes may make this open to a challenge in court. How confident are you that voters aren't going to be swayed by those arguments?
Well, this is part of the campaign that's already started, and Labor is going to throw a lot of issues out there, and they're going to hope to confuse the public. But I think these are very simple concepts. We followed the law. It's a voter initiative, which means signatures were gathered, which means you don't have to negotiate that. That's simply state law. And I believe the voters will see through this, and I think there'll be a big public education campaign by Taxpayers Association and others.
Let's shift to your plan to fix San Diego's broken roads. You are proposing to borrow hundreds of millions of dollars to make the repairs, but your own budget analyst says that you can't use borrowed money to fix things like cracks and potholes. What is your solution?
Well, the solution is we borrowed $100 million a couple of years ago, and we're using that to overlay streets. Any type of improvement you do that'll last 20 years, you can bond out on. If it's simply to fill potholes or to fill cracks, then you have to use the money that we get from gas tax, and that's exactly what we're doing. So we'll do about over 100 miles of roadway this year with overlay, another 100 with slurry sealing, which is temporary, and it just keeps it in place. And we'll be borrowing another $100 million next year to continue with the overlays and also the other capital improvement projects.
On to the Chargers. You've met with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. You've hired a financial advisor to figure out how to pay for a stadium for the Chargers. I think one of the figures that's been bandied about is $38 million a year in public money. What do you think the public appetite is for such a project, given that we're coming off a year of continued home foreclosures and double-digit unemployment?
Well, I think it depends on how you pay for it. If we can use some assets we have to leverage, and that's what Lazard will help us figure out, we won't go out for a tax increase because I just don't think that's doable, and I don't think there's any appetite for that. But there's other ways to finance that. And if we do it downtown, where you get economic benefit because high-rise construction goes up around it, building new property tax, if you have an entertainment zone that builds new sales tax into it, I think then you can show the benefit to everybody, and that's exactly what we'll be doing.
How was the meeting with the NFL commissioner today?
Well, it was great. He likes to see franchises stay in the cities that they've been in. Dean Spanos has always told me he wants to stay here, and I believe that the Spanoses want to be in San Diego. We want the Chargers here, and what we have to do is put together a business deal that makes sense to the citizens and makes sense to the Chargers, and that's what we have Lazard working on.
Let's talk about the Occupy San Diego protests. As you know, they've been going on for a month. You know the grievances. Protesters are upset about wage stagnation, income disparity, unemployment, government bailouts of big corporations, and staggering student loans. What do you think about their complaints?
Well, I agree with some. I disagree with a lot of them. There's a lot of different factions in Occupy who are talking about different issues. They get into international issues. They get into other countries. Those are things that I have no control over, but I believe everybody has the right to protest peacefully. These have been peaceful protests. The police department's worked with the Occupy movement, and I think that we're trying to protect their right to protest. But On the other hand, you can't just take over a piece of property and occupy it with tents and other things that deny that use to other folks. And that's really where the basic issue is boiled down to. And I think the police have done a great job in working with Occupy, and I think Occupy has been pretty responsible.
What are the issues that you do agree with them on?
Well, you know, I do think that we're seeing the greatest recession any of us have seen in our lifetimes. And I think people are angry. I think people are uncertain. I think people are frightened. They don't know about their future. They don't know about jobs. Student loans certainly are extremely expensive. Having daughters that have been through college, I know how expensive that is. And I think that people are looking for some answers on that. And I'm not sure they're going to get them, but it's good to have that outlet to start talking about it.
There is a crowded field of candidates who want to succeed you. You're in the last year of office. These big names of candidates include DA Bonnie Dumanis, Congressman Bob Filner, Assemblyman Nathan Fletcher. What is your advice to them as they move forward in this campaign season?
Well, I guess my advice to all of them is you have to work really hard. I think all of them are working hard, but at the end of the day, you don't want to look back and say, I missed one event which could have been pivotal. I think the other thing is you can't take things personal. And I think a lot of people do take things personally, and it's hard not to. When you're a candidate, it's like you put a target on your back, and people will say things to you you've never dreamed that people would say to you. And you simply can't take that personally. You have to understand it's a point of view or it's a political issue. And a lot of these political things aren't very apparent from the outside, but they are from the inside. So that's the best advice I have.
Mayor Jerry Sanders, thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Thank you.
It's been a busy week aboard the USS Carl Vinson. They're getting ready to host President Obama for a college basketball game on the flight deck. We'll have a look at the preparations in a moment. And from our community desk, going back to boot camp after getting out of the military, we'll tell you about the Reboot program to help veterans return to civilian life. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
Tonight on KPBS at 8, a Veterans Day salute to some of the people who made San Diego a center of the effort to win World War II on Ken Kramer's About San Diego. Then at 8:30 on California's Gold, Huell Hauser and the history of one of the most iconic symbols in the world, the gleaming gold statuette that is the Oscar. And at 9, the identity of a former felon with a new life is uncovered by his nemesis on Inspector Morse. All tonight on KPBS.
Why the hell should they sleep like babies and I have nightmares?
For Holocaust survivors, justice has been difficult to find.
Individuals took up the hunt, maybe because governments failed.
Whatever has been done because justice had not been served.
Untold stories in the search for elusive justice.
Watch Elusive Justice, Tuesday at 9 on KPBS. KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Erwin Jacobs and by
As the military winds down its involvement in Iraq and Afghanistan, thousands of active duty service members are returning home. This week, the White House honored a San Diego program as a national model. KPBS reporter Allison St. John introduces us to graduates of Reboot, a kind of reverse boot camp helping troops and their families adjust to life outside the military.
Once you're in the military, you have to follow orders. Orders are the most important things. If there are no orders, you just kind of have to ask somebody for what exactly they want you to do. And being out of the military, you don't have those orders. You kind of have to figure out what you need to do. No one's going to tell you what to do.
Security for yourself, for your family. The Navy's provided that for myself for 20 years. So pretty much I knew I was getting a paycheck, medical care, and things of that nature. So security for my family and myself were a big issue.
I'd say one of the biggest fears is, you know your job in the military, even though every 2 to 3 years you're going to change it and you're going to go into an unknown situation, but your basic job structure is known. And the biggest fear I had was translating you know, the jobs that you do in the military, translating that to civilian.
Leaving the military and returning to civilian life is a major transition. It's a cultural shift. Here in this empty classroom, 360 people have gone through a transformation and come out more ready to face a new life in the civilian world.
All right, good morning. Morning. Good morning. Oh, come on, good morning. Morning. Good morning. That's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the session.
These workshops are run by National Veterans Transition Services, a San Diego nonprofit.
Our role and our goal is to enhance your transition or your reintegration back into your civilian life.
The program began a little over a year ago. Classes are already booked up through March of next year.
What are some of your fears? Yes, we go.
Being homeless.
Oh, yeah, being homeless. Thank you.
The cost of the 3-week workshop, $2,500, has been covered by private donations so far, though Reboot hopes for federal support eventually.
What are your strengths as a service member?
Adaptability.
Adaptability, not our discipline also.
The first week focuses on controlling thoughts, how to manage them, how to create a new set of beliefs, how to turn off those unwanted images inside their head, and then refocus their energy on success.
The success they're aiming for is not just about finding a career. Reboot graduate Otto de la Cruz did land a good job as a facilities manager in San Diego, but to keep his family relationship strong through the transition, he encouraged his wife to go through Reboot too.
I started to change the dynamics in my household as well, and started to change myself. And that's really the key thing about this. Everything, change starts with you.
Otto and Osiris de la Cruz have been married for 11 years. Osiris was a devoted Navy wife and mother, but when her husband told her he was retiring, she felt panicky and depressed.
Reboot did save our marriage. When he went through Reboot, it was a lot of stress going on because of transition, and everything he brought back, every day, everything that he brought home, new information, his attitude, it came to the house. It came to the house, and we started talking a little bit more.
Your confidence changed significantly. I saw you kind of go back to the person that you were when I first met you. I understood that the struggles of military life took a toll on you, having to raise 3 kids, sometimes by yourself. I knew that wasn't very easy, and you kind of lost sight of yourself.
For 11 years, all my attention was to him, what he needed, my kids also, of course. But next deployment, we're going to prepare for deployment, his workouts, what is he going to need, what is he going to do. Right after graduating from Reboot, I got a job. I went to an interview, took that job at the Alvarado Hospital, and I'm there, and it's very exciting because we're starting all over again, and we're starting together.
The best way to do this is what we call prevention and intervention. Prevention says get them before they get out of the service and help them reboot their brains, reboot their culture, their belief system, so they can go out and be successful versus after they've been out. And you can still do it after they've been out, but it's much, much more effective to reboot them before they get out of the service.
That was Allison St. John reporting. So far, 87% of those who graduate from Reboot have either gone back to school or found a job. San Diego is also home to the largest number of post-9/11 veterans than anywhere else in the country. The nation's commander-in-chief and most well-known basketball fan is heading to San Diego. Amitha has more about the big visit at the Evening Edition Roundtable.
Tomorrow on Veterans Day, President Obama will land at North Island Naval Air Station to witness a first-of-its-kind event, a college basketball game on the flight deck of the Carl Vinson aircraft carrier. Construction of a full basketball court has been underway since November 1st. Planners were also ready to take the game under the deck in case of rain, but a storm that was expected to arrive tomorrow is now expected to come in on Saturday instead. So it should be a spectacular scene down on the bay. KPBS KPBS business reporter Eric Anderson was on the Vinson earlier today, and he joins me now to talk about the Carrier Classic. Welcome, Eric. Who are the teams that are playing tomorrow, and how big of a rivalry is it?
Well, the rivalry is not that huge, but they are both very skilled college basketball teams. North Carolina is ranked preseason #1, best team in the land, early in the year, of course, and the Michigan State Spartans are perennial team that does perennially well in the March Madness basketball tournament. So both very high-profile basketball teams getting together on the deck of the USS Carl Vinson for a basketball game tomorrow.
So the USS Carl Vinson crew has been through a lot in the past couple of years. What are some of the significant things that it's been through?
The last couple of years have really been quite the ride for the crew of the Vinson. I talked to a sailor there today who has been on board since 2009, and he said, you know, once they came out of a refueling stop that they had that lasted for 4 years, they went on their first deployment after that stop and were sent immediately to Haiti in the wake of that large earthquake there. They provided relief, flying supplies in and out, bringing people who needed surgery on board the aircraft carrier to take care of them. Then they went on and sailed around the South American tip of the continent there, and took a couple of months off, and then went back on deployment to the Persian Gulf, where they were involved in a small way with the demise of Osama bin Laden. He was buried at sea off the deck of the USS Carl Vinson. And then they came back here, and it all seems to have happened so quick for them.
So in addition to President Obama, who else gets to attend this event? It's
going to be a lot of military folks, a lot of sailors, as you might imagine. About 800 or so of the crew of the Vinson are going to be on board. And there are going to be other military personnel from Camp Pendleton, from some of the surrounding military bases. And I was talking to the captain of the vessel today, Captain Lindsay, and he said really it's been an amazing transformation for him as he's watched the deck of his, floating airport be changed into a basketball court.
For an aviator, one, and two, a captain of an aircraft carrier, it's pretty awesome to see the transformation that goes on board this aircraft carrier for this. I've seen airplanes launch and recover day, night, stormy weather, and to watch this operation build this stadium up here is pretty impressive. But it also goes to show that the Navy and the military at large knows how to do logistics and operations to pull this off, and this does not affect our operational schedule one iota.
And that, of course, is important because by the end of the year, the USS Carl Vinson is going to be back out on another deployment.
Now, Eric, entertainment on military ships is nothing new. In fact, Elvis Presley performed here in San Diego on the USS Hancock back in 1956. Let's take a look.
Since my baby left me, will I find a new place to dwell? Well, it's down at the end of Lonely Street.
These kinds of events reach all the way back to World War II, when really they started in earnest. Back in those days, the USO or similar organizations would sponsor entertainment for our troops and sailors. And because Los Angeles was so close to San Diego, this was a very popular place for entertainers to come down to. And there are a ton of examples. You know, Henry Fonda, the Andrews Sisters, Marx Brothers. That type of entertainment came down to San Diego to help out. Came down to Camp Pendleton as well.
And, of course, this is not that kind of an entertainment event, but it is still entertainment, and it's something the Navy wants to highlight because it involves competition and it involves physical fitness, both of those things important to the Navy.
Can we expect another game like this next year in San Diego?
There is already plans for another game, probably not in San Diego. I suspect it might be back on the East Coast, but UConn has signed on to do the next game next year, and there's a chance that the University of Arizona might be the team they play against.
Very quickly, what time is the game tomorrow, and who can watch it?
It'll be on a national television broadcast, ESPN, and it starts about 4:15.
Eric, thank you so much for speaking to us.
My pleasure.
And, of course, tomorrow's a day off for a lot of people, but some folks are working more hours than ever before. That's coming up in our public square in just a moment. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
I'm Jim Lara. On the next News Hour, the latest news, analysis, and in-depth reporting you've come to expect from our team. Join us tomorrow on the PBS NewsHour.
Tuesday at 10 on KPBS.
The American people have named PBS
the most trusted source of news and public affairs
for the 8th year in a row. Trust.
The American people have spoken. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Public Square on KPBS Evening Edition. A recent report says 40% of workers in San Diego are working more than 9 hours a day. It's a national trend that has workers doing more for the same or even less pay. You had a lot to say about this subject. Here are some of your responses. On Google+, Mark says he works about 60 hours a week at his own business, and he says that probably means I'm at the low end. On Twitter, Kyle says he vows not to work more. And on Facebook, Karen, a teacher, writes, many of my students work 10 to 12 hours a day regularly. They clean houses, work in factories, do landscaping. What about you? Are you working more since the recession? You can weigh in on the conversation by following us on Twitter, liking us on Facebook, and of course, you can email us. And now, Dwayne has a recap of tonight's top stories.
San Diego Mayor Jerry Sanders met with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell today to talk about the proposal for a new stadium for the Chargers. He says Goodell supports keeping the team in town. The annual Sandcastle competition in Imperial Beach has been canceled. Organizers say they're calling off the 31-year-old event because of rising costs and fundraising problems. And President Obama comes to San Diego tomorrow for Veterans Day. He'll watch a college basketball game on the deck of the USS Carl Vinson. And you can watch and comment on any of the stories you saw tonight on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night. We leave you with a look at the forecast.